Well, here we are at the start of this journey, the Black River Headwaters up to Powderhorn. I'm supposed to drop to 8 degrees Celsius tonight, so there's probably not many allergens up here, but definitely help settle things down. Maybe make the animals a little hungry. Okay, so this is where we are tonight, at the Herb Lake landing. We're going to take this route right up the Black River. There's a double portage up Knife Lake with that awkward portage. Got to get through Jean Lake, up the Black River to Mooney Lake, and then 2 more portages to get to Hosiery and Powderhorn. So this should be fun. Hello to you all. It's Friday morning, 20 minutes before sunrise. And we're headed out into the mist. Hopefully we'll get to our first portage before the sun breaks over the trees. We have a good head start this morning. So we're now out on Herb Lake. This lake is not made by humans. It's not dammed. So everything on this lake, its geography, is all natural, made by the cosmos, essentially. This is my orange canister that keeps all of my essentials, my keys, my wallet, my phone, dry and hopefully floating if the canoe tips over, but let's make sure that doesn't happen. So the fog is slowly starting to clear. I know this spot because there's this little stream running out in the middle of this forest. And I wonder if it comes off of one of the lakes that we're paddling up. Now we're going up about 100 meters in elevation to Powderhorn. So here I am at this little stream just pouring over this rock ever so nicely. You can hear it from the other side of the lake. It makes that much noise and it's just constantly flowing. As the sun breaks through and we reach early morning, there are just some things that happen in nature that are just hard to explain and experience. You have to be out here on this time of day. There's like a color in the sky there where the sun is trying to break up the clouds and the evaporation off of this lake. And it's just beautiful. So I just finished my first portage here at it's a kind of an unnamed falls. And if we follow this beautiful stream where the water rushes down, it leads to a wonderful cascade of rapids along rock, leading to beautiful falls at the end. Some might call it a falls, some might call it a chute. Probably depends where in Ontario you're from. Look at this little feature. All thanks to this big rock decided to wedge itself here. And this is interesting, how the water so nicely cascades out and the cubic nature of these rocks. So I've made it up the second portage here. I'm headed into a bit of a no man's land in the next portage. Fortunately, we did some navigating and scouting last time we were here. It should be a little bit easier. This is my food for the trip. It's vegan. There is no meat in any of this. Lots of carbs. So I forgot my spoon. You know, as I go through the trip, I'll make a list of the things I forgot. That's for sure. I'll forget all the things that I didn't need. And yeah, I'm gonna be eating my cereal with chopsticks this morning. So that'll add probably an hour onto the trip. So I don't know if you could see it as clearly as I can. This is the route ahead. So I had to switch from my kayak paddles to my canoe paddle to help me get through this deep muskeg. I know where it goes. I just have to push hard to get over the dam. I can't get my canoe around this point, not with my paddle anyways. And so I changed my footwear and I'm gonna get out and pull this canoe through this. So we made it to the dam. I had to walk through this stuff, which is, if you see, you know, it gets pretty deep and mucky. I'll just check for leeches later. Last time we were here, our friend Emma took this dam down and we had a beautiful, fun log ride. Still some rapids here, thanks to the beavers. They did rebuild it in only a week's time. So let's go get over this and get to our shorter portage. Oh wow, now here's a view. I'm standing atop the beaver dam, looking at the muskeg. It's a beautiful view. Okay, we made it to the portage route. Now we have about a kilometer of trail to go. Marked on this tree, also known as blazing, an alternate trail other than what's provided by the trails guide. So, this is all my gear. My attempt today is to take this whole thing, about 100 pounds of gear, and taking it a kilometer on this portage and make a single trip. I probably can't get a video while I'm doing it just because of I got to get to the destination, but we'll see. So I kind of overpacked and I can't fit my sweater and shirt in. I have nowhere else to put it. So I've got to cache some items. I'm gonna empty this water bottle out, put it in here, even though it's gonna taste like coffee for a bit. And then I've got some containers that I'm just gonna cache somewhere here where I'm gonna return. I don't always have the opportunity to cache items. For example, if I'm going in a singular direction from one end to the other. In this case, I'm returning back. I'll pick it up later. Well, things aren't going 100% to plan here. My backpack was too high, so it interfered with the seat that's behind the yoke. So my plans got yoked. I had to make 2 trips. I brought the canoe and the backpack together for about 200 meters, but it was too much. So here I am with the canoe. Thing I don't like about carrying the canoe is the fact that I can't see. So if I'm sneaking up on a bear or a moose, hopefully the moose doesn't think that my antlers or canoe are going to dominate his territory. So I finished my first long haul portage, and I had a little bit of a delay, but we made it. I'm on to the Jean Lake and Mooney Lake portage. I gotta go in that direction. Maybe I'll stop for lunch. So halfway to my next portage, I decided to take a break to get some food. Considering I added almost twice the length because I had to make 2 trips in the last portage, I decided to stop on this rock. It's beautiful. And there's some beautiful flowers sitting here all alone. This is where the Black River drains into Jean Lake, and it gives off a nice little waterfall. You can see we're getting to the top of the headwaters of the river because the amount of water coming above ground is diminishing. But a river isn't always what you see. There's a lot happening underground and around rocks and roundabout ways through creeks and other tributaries. Okay, I'm about to start the second longest portage of the trip. Actually, first longest, considering I took a shortcut to the other one. Isn't it great how being in nature can be like playing a video game? You could either take the long road, the hard way, the hard portage, the beaver dam. It's beautiful. Anyways, while I'm out here, I keep a couple things with me to keep me safe. So I have my bear spray. I have my my hunting knife. I've got my Fisker's axe. That's for cutting through brush as well. And it has some other tools available. And my trusty whip. This is also known as a virgac. It's a Hungarian whip. And I use it, actually not what you think. I don't go around hitting animals. I use it to let them know I'm here. Here, I'll show you. Put my sunglasses on to protect my eyes. And sorry if it's a little loud. So I think I'm almost at the Mooney Lake to Moose Pond portage. I can't stand up, so you got a better view than me. This is where I came from. A couple obstacles in the way, like beaver dams, logs, rocks. But there's some cranberries. Yummy. I made it. Made it to Hosiery and Powderhorn Lake. This is the top of the Black River watershed. The highest point. I'm starving. And I gotta set up tent and spend the night. I have to spend the night because even if I want to make it back, there's not enough time in the day for me to get back to where I started. So, time to bunk up. So here we are, the final destination, Powderhorn Lake, right at the headwaters of the Black River. Can't go much further than this. It's absolutely beautiful up here. There's no one, absolutely no one around. It's been a tough trip. I will concede to that. Well, we bid farewell to the sun. Tonight will be a lonely night in the woods. I've got my camp set up, a fire, and I've got my canoe placed just in front of my tent in case a moose happens to come walking through the forest. It'll stumble upon my canoe first, hopefully. I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna catch you in the morning. And if there's any excitement during the night, I'll try and turn the phone on. Well, after a decent night's rest, I woke up in the early morning to all sorts of sounds. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it was a moose or wolves. I'm not sure. But either way, it was a good sleep. I got some. Thankfully, I brought the vapor barrier that I put over my tent on cold nights. Last night it was 4 degrees Celsius, so it was very cold. But thanks to the vapor barrier, kept me nice and dry. Well, after one of the most hard-beaten paths on the portage, I just came off the portage between Mooney Lake and Moose Pond. I actually ran into some hunters. Luckily, I'm wearing the bright fluorescent orange, and I'm not on their mantle. Hey, I wanted to take a moment just to show you some little treats I found. Here, we've got some Ontario cranberries. They're growing quite splendidly along this shoreline, but interestingly enough, only along this particular section of the route. Maybe the animals ate where the other cranberries were, but these aren't quite ripe yet. The whole cranberry needs to turn red for it to be in its most flavorful condition. You can still eat this, loaded with vitamin C. So if you're ever out in the backcountry, you see some cranberries. Bon appetit. This is the portage back to Jean Lake from Mooney Lake. I've got 3 more portages to go, and I'll be back safe and sound. It was a great night. Lots to review, lots to think about, that's for sure. This is what I've got for my first trip. Got my backpack and all my gear and my food. I'm gonna hang my food up in a tree so that when I go and get the canoe, something isn't eating my food. That would end blocking my way out. Okay, this will be one of the last videos of this trip. I don't know how much power I've got left, but this is my longest portage, as you can see. You can actually join me under the canoe. I'm exhausted. This is me passing my halfway point, but going home is downhill. For the most part, I'm declining in elevation. I got a branch in the neck. I was getting used to having the canoe on a certain part of my shoulders because there's other parts that are injured or truly fatigued. And the canoe was up, and a branch came down from the canoe tip onto my neck. Not a good scene. Kind of hurts. I'll assess it more. Maybe just wash my neck with water and wait till I get to a mirror. I found something strange. Check this out. So this looked like a fossil of some sort. There's an indentation, but it's in the shape of a paw. And as I reach in, I can pull off these things that look like hair, but they could be lichen. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do some research, or if you know what it is, comment below. It looks like almost like a scratching post of generations of animals, maybe bears. Now this is an absolute gem. It feels like a scene out of The Last of the Mohicans. The rock, Canadian shield, leading up a stream. This is the Black River, by the way. We're headed back down onto the Black River to return to Herb Lake. Look at this big old moved rock. Who could have done that? Maybe a bear? You see off in the distance there, in between the trees, there's a lightness, like a sheen. That's the lake. It's the portager's dream. It's the goal. It's the sunshine of the route. This is the end of my camera life. I just finished the halfway point. I'm headed down in elevation, and I have to turn the phone off to save battery in case there's an emergency. All right, I've got 2% battery life, and destination is right over there. So I just gotta get there, and I think I will, because if you're watching this video, I didn't flip and my phone didn't fall asleep and die. This was a 30-kilometer trip, 20 kilometers in paddling, about 10 kilometers in portage. It was a lot of, there's a lot of lessons I learned